Good morning. um, well, it's good morning for me. I don't know when you'll be um, pressing play, but I woke up with something in my heart and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. And it's along the lines of this whole cleaning up chapter. I was thinking more and more about this concept of cleaning up, cleaning out. And I might have mentioned that I have post-its all around different parts of my little place. And I can't help but just keep thinking back to what I was talking about before, about all of us already having the answer within, when we're looking at Stephen Hawking's questions about those big life questions, right? That we already have those answers, and it's just a matter of recognizing that we're interconnected, that we need to find a way to communicate, to collaborate with all this wealth of knowledge that already exists. And how it starts at the individual level, right? The individual healing, the cleaning out of any emotions, of anything that might be holding ourselves back from loving ourselves unconditionally, aligning all of those parts of ourselves that we either hide or not even recognize sometimes, right? And it's not until we're confronted with other people who show themselves as a mirror to us that we realize, wow, that really sometimes we don't even realize, we just react emotionally, and we don't even realize that it's because it's a trigger for us of something within us that we either don't want to see, we don't want to acknowledge, we don't like about ourselves, or something really hidden deep down, some type of past trauma. I know there's some research coming out in terms of trauma being passed on within the genes, our DNA. There's some research going on right now, and with children specifically, I think, or maybe it's with adults, but it's being applied to children. I'd have to look into it again, but just this, right, recognition, this concept of doing our own healing work. And Miss Pema talked about how we all want to be helpful, right? We all want to help people feel better, or help people solve their problems, and sometimes we put ourselves in these situations where we know what's best. And we do that because we want to be helpful, but then we have to kind of take a step back and think, well, why are we doing that, right? Why? There's a reason for us, for this need for us to fix or help this other individual with this particular task, and it's possibly because within us that same task needs to be addressed, or something similar, or something that triggers it. So we're the mirror image of the people we want to help, is what she said. And then she says, when someone treats us in an unkind way, our natural reaction is to think of them as an enemy, along with any other of the negative labels that we might use. And there's a term that she talks about that helps us look at that situation in a different way. And I think I had also shared a little bit about that, and is finding some truth in that, finding some truth in what this other person is acknowledging or shedding light to, and thanking this other individual. I believe it's called bodhisattva, where we just humble ourselves in that moment when someone calls us out on our bluff, or calls attention to an area that we might be not wanting to address. humbling ourselves from whatever role we have, from whatever high horse we come on, and really finding truth in that, and being grateful for that awareness, because that's really what it is. It's a sense of awareness of something that maybe we weren't aware to. Yeah. And so she talks about how important it is for us to acknowledge how alike we are with those who trigger us, because that will then allow us to start connecting wholeheartedly. And that's where the sense of discomfort comes in, right? Leaning into that discomfort, sitting with that discomfort, because it can be really painful depending on what is triggered. And if we learn to sit with that emotion, that difficult emotion, that pain, and if we can bear it for a little bit to start, and then bear it again for a little bit longer, eventually it'll soften our hearts, is what she says. It'll make us more humble, is what she says. So that's a clue for us, right? If we can see how rigid other people's hearts are, then that's a sign for us to look within. And then she says, I will spend my human life expanding my ability to feel comfortable in my own skin and in the world, so that I can be there as much as possible for you. I love that. I will spend my human life expanding my ability to feel comfortable in my own skin. Feeling comfortable in my own skin. I think sometimes I've heard that term before, and initially it was this sense of empowerment. I'm comfortable in my own skin, having thick skin, right? To confront whatever challenges or battles come my way. But this isn't talking about a thick skin. This is just being comfortable in my own skin, without the need of defending it, right? Or defending inside. But just knowing that because then if you think about it, if there's this concept of I have to thicken my skin, that means my skin isn't good enough, right? I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough to deal with the challenges, the pressures, the words, the judgments of other people. This is about expanding our ability to feel comfortable with what we have. The answer is found within, with what we have already. My own skin. Which means I need to lean into the discomfort. I need to make friends with it, as Miss Pema says. I need to be open to seeing that mirror when it's reflected back to me. It means being brave enough to look within. Knowing that I will give myself grace in that process versus being my own worst critic. That's the start of unconditional love. And then, once I feel comfortable in my own skin, I can then be comfortable in my own skin in the world, so that I can be there as much as possible for you. And from that, this is what I took. I will work on my own healing for you. That sense of ownership, accountability, even for the things that maybe I didn't do to myself but were done to me, there's still a sense of accountability on my part in terms of how I'm going to respond to those things, those external things. I will work on my own healing for you. Because you are me. I am you. We are interconnected. We are interconnected. One of the first lessons, or I don't even know if I should call it a lesson, but just understanding of this whole interconnectedness was what she talked about, that I guess someone by the name of Trungpa Rinpoche, and this is me trying to pronounce it with the Spanish accent, who said that the way to arouse bodhicitta was to begin with a broken heart. Bodhicitta stands for, in Sanskrit, bodhi means awake, and chitta means heart or mind. And apparently our aim is to fully awaken our heart and mind, not just for our own greater well-being, but also to bring benefits, solace, and wisdom to other living beings. I thought that was so beautiful, right? Aligning the heart and the mind. Cleaning out house. Cleaning up that clutter, that emotional clutter in my heart, that baggage, right? Like we usually call it. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I have things in bags stored up in my closet for such a long time, I open it up and I start reminiscing. I start going through things. I start trying on clothes that I hadn't tried on in years. I find old pictures. I find just, it's memories, right? And then you realize you can let go of some stuff, and that's what we need to do with our hearts. We don't realize that we do carry baggage, and it weighs on our hearts. It weighs on our bodies, and our bodies will let us know. Our bodies will let us know when we're imbalanced. And it requires that triangle of strength to push through, to make ourselves feel balanced again. The triangle comes after. The triangle comes after. It's the bridge. It's the imbalance. It comes after. Because that's how you know that you're in balance. When you have your bridge, just your flat bridge, and there's stuff that's just piling, that just gives way. That's the tower moment, right? That's the tower moment. And then when you're rebuilding, it's the triangle. It's the triangle. It's the strength of the triangle that helps rebuild this bridge. So it's threes. It's the threes that help rebuild it. Not that you need you do, but I feel like this way it makes more sense. So with polarity, no, not polarity, maybe, I don't know. I think I might be overthinking this. But anyway, squirrel, go back. I will work on my own healing for you. That was it. hope you guys have a good day or a good evening or whenever you watch this. I hope this resonates in some way. But that's just what was in my heart this morning. I was thinking about it, reflecting on it. Cleaning up, cleaning out our hearts.